let's look at animation with CSS transitions. So I've got a code pen here, I've got a heading one down here with hello world, it's got some width, it's got some padding, it's got a border, text align, okay, fairly standard stuff. So these CSS transitions I'm going to show you here, they're kind of event driven, they're state driven. So if I put in a H1 here and put a hover pseudo class in, I could do something like change the width to be 600 pixels, roll over it, and it changes state. Okay, so it's a bit clunky, it's doing it immediately when I roll over it, so this is where transitions will come into play, because what I could say is I want to transition, and I could indicate which property it was I want to transition. So if we transition property and then say width. Now that at the moment is not going to do anything particularly exciting. It's still going to work as it was before. Just need a semicolon there. So it's still doing that. So this has had no impact so far, because I then need to put in a transition duration. And these are values in seconds, so let me put in, say, 4 seconds. And now you see we get the animation. So it takes 4 seconds to get that, and it'll just jump back at the end. So I could put in another property of delay. Just have it delayed a little bit. So let's put in 2-second delay. So let's try that now. So 1, 2, and off we go. Great. And we could also add what's known as an easing graph, a timing function. So animation is just changing of a value over time. So ordinarily you would have a linear graph where you're just changing the same amount over time. That's what it's currently doing. But you can apply different timing functions. So if I wanted it to start quickly and then slow down as it reached its destination, I would want something like an ease in, I think. So we'll try that. So we'll say transition timing function, and then let's put in ease in. The values you've got for this instantly are here. So we've got ease in, ease out, easing out, linear. So I've got a ease in, I think, at the moment. So let's try that. So it should start quickly. I'll start to look because my delay. Let's take the delay off. Right, let's try again. So it starts slowly and then it'll speed up. So different to the linear movement. Let's try and ease out. That certainly started quicker at the beginning there. So you can add the timing functions in. Okay, now a couple of things here. It's not very nice when we go away, when it jumps out. Also, it's quite tedious having to write all of this code. So there is a shorthand, so I can just get rid of all of these. Because I could just say transition as a shorthand, and then I could put in the first of all I'd want the property, or I should say that you can, let's step back on this actually. One thing you can do here is you can do multiple properties. So let's change the background color as well. So let's say that I had that background color, that will transition as well. You can see how the colors jump straight away there, because I'd need to add background colour in as a property transition under transition property. So now it's doing that. So you can have multiple properties. Listing them all can be a bit tedious, so you can just do all. Okay, now as I was hinting there, doing them like this is a bit tedious as well. So we could just say transition all. We could say it's going to take 4 seconds. We could put a delay in, which is optional, and then we could put in our timing function. So we've got 1 second late, 1, and then off it goes. And the thing you might not like is at the end it jumps back. Well, the way around that is, I'm going to get rid of the delay, is I could take exactly that same transition and I could put it back on the original state, maybe change the timing so it's a bit quicker, in fact reverse the easing. So now when I roll over this, it'll take 4 seconds, but when I roll off, so the hover is no longer valid, it will transition into the other state. It'll take 2 seconds to get back to where it was. I should just do that like so. Okay, so that's transition. You can have some fun with that. Be careful, I've used width there to illustrate the point. Obviously, in a layout, width might have impact elsewhere, but things like colour, you see, you can create quite nice hover effects for things like menu systems. Okay, that is CSS transition property.